So what I'm just going to quickly show you, it's just a way to open some of our radial locks. Okay, I had a few locks sent to me by a member. I just wanted to show him a slightly different way to open locks as opposed to the way that you traditionally open them, i.e. if you went by the instructions for most of the tubular picks out there. Okay, just got a couple of picks that I use. This is the HPC quick reset tool. Okay, it's called the quick reset because obviously you can pump the tool to reset, and also the traditional HPC tool, which is the one that I tend to use most of the time. You see this tool here, it usually have a washer just attached here. Okay, I actually remove that, and you'll see why that is when I show you the way that I open these locks. Okay, first off, the way that you would usually open these locks would be obviously to set up the tool first. You can see how all the feelers here are all sat proud. Make sure the little turn here, which has a washer inside, which the more you do that up, they become nice and tight, nice and loose, against something flat. So all the feelers now flush with the top of the tool. Then I recommend doing up that turn just sort of hand tight. Then first thing that they would say to do is to bottom out the pins. Okay, and bottoming out the pins is to basically go into the lock just until you're touching the pins perhaps. Okay, apply a bit of rotation in the direction that you want to unlock and then push the tool in from there. Okay, and you would keep that bit of tension applied. Okay, then from there work the tool, very small movements in and out the lock, because the idea of that is that as the feelers are pushed against the pins, it's looking for bound or tight pins, and them tight pins will push the feeler down until it finds its correct position in a lock, and then the plug will rotate just a fraction onto the next bound pin. So again, it's a progressive opening. Okay, but the problem is with doing it like this, or that I find, is it's very hard on the hands. Okay, it's hard to keep that little bit of tension on, or whatever tension that you feel the lock needs, and at the same time pump the tool in and out of the lock. Okay, also obviously the feelers as well need to be set up just right with how tight or loose they are to suit the lock. I can see that one or two have moved a small amount. Okay, so I'm getting some movement, not a great deal. So if I find that I'm not getting a lot of movement, you can just undo that turn there a small amount. That will just free up the feelers a small amount, but I've kept the tension on as I've done that. And again, now I start to work the lock again, just pumping in and out, in and out. Okay, and I'm looking at the feelers to see if I'm getting any movement on them. So keeping that turn on, pumping the tool in and out. Nothing wrong to check the tool. I can see that a lot of the feelers have moved to their maximum depth, which isn't a good sign. Okay, it could be that the key is like that, or the lock set up like that. I'll be surprised though. Okay, and that's how you would continue through. You did find when you're checking that most of the feelers are depressed, simply to start back through. So reset the tool, perhaps do up the turn a little bit more tight, bit of tension on, bottom out, work the lock from there. Had a nice bit of movement, and that's how you continue through. So again, loosen off, so I can feel I've had some movement there, and pumping, and that's how you continue to do it. Okay, until hopefully the lock opened. Okay, and that technique does work on a lot of these locks, but these locks have been sent to me because they are quite hard locks. So I'm just going to show you a quick way that if that technique doesn't work, i.e. per the instructions, the way that I do it. Okay, and this is how I pick most of these locks. Just going to zoom in a small amount just so you can see a bit more. Okay, so again I just set up the tool in the same way, all nice and flush. Just do that up, just hand tight, okay, not too tight, not too loose. Then what I do in this case is that as opposed to going in tension on, bottoming out the pins and then keeping the tension as I pump the tool in and out, what I first off do is actually I don't depress the pins. okay, or at least not all the way. What I do is work the tool just until it's just in contact, okay. Then from there, so I'm not going to push the pins all the way in, I actually start to slowly push in the pins, at the same time knocking the tension on and off, working the pick slightly deeper in as I do that. So I don't keep a constant amount of rotation or tension on the plug. Then what I'm looking for is when I start getting a bit of give on that plug. Then I can decide if I'm going to slightly undo or loosen off the feelers, or do them up a small amount. So I'll just show you that. Okay, so just up to the pins, then I start to work the pins from there. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. So I'm pumping in and out, which sounds a bit crude, but, and then at the same time I'm actually letting the tension go on and off as I do that. I'm keeping the pick in the lock at all times. Okay, and again I'm watching, every now and again looking at the feelers, am I getting any movement? Okay, just loosen it off a touch. So I'm beginning to get a bit of movement there on that plug. Okay, because I can feel, it's almost like a crunching, it's just saying to me pins beginning to find their right depths. And again I can check the tool, okay, and I could decide if I think that a lot of the feelers have moved past their point where I think they should be. I would simply just start back through. Hear that? Hopefully you can hear that clicking sound. Okay, which is what I'm after. Okay, just loosen off a bit more. I may have loosened off just a fraction too much there, I'm not too sure. Yep, so I'm just going to reset that. Do it up a bit more tight and just use that same technique again. Okay, just pumping in and out of that lock. Again, check the tool. You can see I've had some movement. Just going to loosen off a fraction. Nice bit of movement there. Okay, so I can see that the feelers are moving. Again, I've had some movement on the plug. Just loosen off a touch. Hopefully you can hear that real crunching. Okay. Now it feels, what I can feel now is that I'm losing some of the pins, so that's basically saying to me reset. Okay, so I should be able to feel the pins. So again, reset, start back through. Again, I'm getting that little bit of movement there on the plug. Just push that in. Check the feelers. I think on this lot I need to do this up a little bit more. So I'm getting a lot of movement on the feelers. So I'm just going to quickly reset once more. I'm going to do that up a bit more tight. What I'm doing, I'm starting off high on the pins, and as I'm pumping in and out I'm working them a bit lower. So I'm getting deeper into the lock with my pick as I progress through. So I'm getting that nice click there. So what I'm going to do, because I'm getting a slight turn on the tool, Okay, I know the lock's being worked. So what I'm going to do now, and this is why I also removed the washer. Okay, because sometimes they'll open just by doing what I was doing there, but sometimes it will take you so far. So what's basically happened is, I'd say around 80% of the pins perhaps have found their place. Okay, there's probably 1 or 2 pins not quite there yet. So what I do, once I've had that bit of give, I keep the tool in that position, keep the turn on. Then what I now do is go round and test each of the feelers by gently pushing it and seeing if it's got any movement. Okay, because it could have depressed too far. So what I'm doing, just gently pushing in the feelers, seeing if I get any movement. Okay, now I've got a bit of movement on that one, and that's where it goes. Okay, so what that basically was that 6 of the pins were in place. Okay, but the last pin just needed a little bit of help. So what I've done is took the lock to a point where I'm getting that give, and then look for individual pins. So you're basically going from trying to pick the lock, get it to a particular state, and then looking for them individual pins. I'll just show you that quickly once more. Okay, so I've took my time on that one, just so you can see what I'm doing with the tool. So we'll speed that up a bit, how I'd usually do it. So again, I start to go in. I'm looking for the point just there where I get that give. So again, I go round testing the feelers. Okay, so like I say before, I just took my time a bit, as you could see, and again, once it goes, I do up that nice and tight so it acts just like the key. Okay, so hopefully, okay then guys, so that was the first technique. I'll just show you the same sort of technique, just on this lock here, just had a change of lock. Okay, so much the same thing, again, just set up my tool. Okay, this one I'll go anti-clockwise just to show you that it works both ways. Again though, it's slightly different with this one. So this one, same thing, I'm going to do up the turn, just sort of hand tight. This time though, I will actually bottom out the pins a small amount, so just up to the pins, bit of rotation, turn. That just helps locate them bound pins. Then from there, that's where I work it, just small in and out movements. But again, I still rock on and off with the tension. Okay, much same thing as before. I'm just looking for that point where I start getting a little bit of give on the plug. Okay, and again, watching the feelers, see if I'm getting any movement. Okay, I can feel some movement on the plug, so I'm just going to test quickly to see if I'm getting any movement on the feelers. Okay, remember when I'm testing like this, or testing the pins, I'm keeping that tension applied. A little bit of give there. Just bringing that one back a touch because it's got some movement on it. Just testing each one. Nothing yet. So it's going to continue through. Just there, it's gone. Okay. Again, once I do it up nice and tight, I'll act just like the key. Okay. But hopefully that's just helped you out. Just showing you 1 or 2 other little ways that you can do it. So a quick recap is once you set up the tool, first way, don't bottom out all the pins, i.e. just start off light on the pins so you're just touching, and from there start to pump the pins into the lock in and out, applying that tension on and off as you go, getting deeper into the lock. Okay, so it's pumping, tension, on and off. Okay, now that technique may actually open a lock right from scratch, okay, without having to mess about with the feelers. But again, I'm getting that little crunch in just there, so I can hold that in that position, then go around and test each of the feelers, keeping that tension on. And if I'm getting some movement on a few of the feelers there, it just means it's not quite there yet. So just go around again. Okay, I'm getting some movement there, so I'm just going to continue to pick. Bit more there. So again, I stop, keep the tension on, and it just goes there. Do it up and it's gone. Okay, so hopefully that will help you out and just give you perhaps another way that you can pick these locks. Cheers.